This is my notes. And I'm going to do something that public speaking coaches will tell you never, ever do. Throw them away and go improve. And I'm doing that for a simple reason this morning. Because I was mesmerized. I was completely pumped up by each and every of the 9 preceding speeches. And bear with me, I'm going to take a risk. But I feel I need not only to embrace failure, to embrace diversity, to embrace all the wonderful stories, but I will tell you mine. And I will follow some scripts, for sure, because I've got slides, so I'm not going to escape from them. But I will completely swipe out the 20+ odds repetition I've done until recently in my car driving to this place. So 43 years ago, I fell in love with a machine. Not this one. This one. So I see very few people of my age, so you probably wonder, what is this thing? Well, this is a Sinclair ZX81. Like the number implies, it should be around 1981. This was a staggering machine with an incredible amount of memory, 1 kilobyte. 1 kilobyte is probably, a few 100,000 times less than even the cheapest smartphone. But what I did not know was that this machine would lead me a few years later to create my first company, to start writing books, and having written 28 so far. And those ones on SQL Server, a Microsoft product, would have Microsoft ask me, an unknown guy writing a few books, to fly to Seattle to train their engineers on their software, kind of weird, and then lead Microsoft for 17 years on this African continent. And everything in my life has been driven by technology. As I say, I'm a geek. And across all these different experiences, I could never thought that a few years later, at the intersection of challenges, technology, and people, I would produce more than 100 episodes of Entrepreneurs Talk Africa, a podcast focused on African entrepreneurs. I would create the first syndicated business angels investing in startups for an African perspective, Mo Angels, and create my own company again, 20 years after shut down the first one. But what I would not predicted was being basically asked to sit on boards of a bank, of a software company, of an incubator. And if I sit, or if I stand, I'm not sitting, I used to be sitting, but if I stand to you, it's because as an entrepreneur and a technologist on one side, I truly believe that technology changes the world. And what I want to do, inspired by the first 9 speeches as well that we heard this morning, I want to convey a simple things, or a simple set of messages. The problem is, and I love jollof rice, and I love Nigeria, by the way. This is one of the most vibrant countries on the planet. When people say, are you not afraid about Lagos? I said, I love Lagos. Really? Yeah, that's the only place I can go party at 6 a.m. in the morning. And that's crazy. And that thing is the beauty of that diversity. But, and this is a big, big but, if you look at technology today, technology disparities are across Africa and across the world. So there is a huge digital divide. But the beauty of technology is that you can use technology to bridge that divide. And I was listening again for these wonderful speeches. The idea of simplicity that Johan was bringing forward is it does not need to be the last ChatGPT. What if we could use that ZX81? Low tech. It's not about high tech. High tech is done in Taipei, in Shenzhen, in Silicon Valley. That's great. They got money. African does not have that money. Well, we may think differently. But the whole thing is that when we think about Africa, we think about scarcity of water, not having electricity, or even not basic essential health care. So what can we do with technology? So let me give you 3 simple technology examples that really are making a difference in the lives of people. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence these days. Yeah, ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, fantastic, great. But think about healthcare. AI is completely changing healthcare these days. Not only by predicting diseases before they manifest themselves, as well as just providing really customized health treatments. What a crazy company in Nigeria brought to life those babies. You know that in Nigeria, every single day, 2,300 kids die before the age of 5. 150 women die by giving life. Well, Natal Care, a startup, a Nigerian startup, helps those women and those babies to live. With what? Machine learning in the back end, but feature phones. Simple, low-cost phones. That's low-tech with high-tech for people. Second technology that everybody has heard of, blockchain. I'm not talking about Bitcoin. But when Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he is, invented Bitcoin in 2008, what he could not figure out is that technologists are going to take that technology and divert it to help transparency and securing digital transactions. Now, if you look into electoral processes across countries, if you look about supply chain, where does product come from? Is it free from pesticide and all those things? Well, blockchain can help. And actually, an Australian company, AgeUnity, started in 2016, is bringing blockchain technology to rural communities in Africa, securing livelihoods of farmers that otherwise would go to corruption and fraud. Again, it's simple technology displaying information to feature phone based on a very high-end backbone. Third is IoT, or Internet of Things. IoT creates a mesh of information. In the agricultural level, or in the agricultural sector, IoT helps in soil mustering, for example, measuring, as well as weather prediction. Well, again, in Kenya, a company called Ujuzi Kilomo brought IoT to rural communities, helping farmers to grow yield by providing data insights right into their feature phones. And those 3 technologies, ladies and gentlemen, very, very simply, and those 3 companies who are really startups, brought forward by young people, is just making a difference in everybody's life. You may say, yeah, that's beautiful stories, and I'm going to take my cynic part. I'm French, after all, so, and nothing is fantastic in France, of course. But the thing is, yes, there are difficulties everywhere. And let me tell you 3 of them. The first thing is access to capital. Ask any startuppers, and I know a few of you in the room today, okay? The thing is, if you ask those startuppers, they will say that raising capital in Africa, my God. Go to a bank. You know what a banker is? A banker is somebody who lends you oh gosh, forgot my words. And I said, bear with me, I'm taking risks here. But a banker is somebody who really, talks to you, but when you need money, he will never lend it to you. And the thing is, access to capital is almost impossible in normal financing ways, so you need to find other ways. And that's why business angels, crowdfunding, company like Thunder Fund in South Africa, for example, or venture capital comes into play. And the thing is that you need to ask. Money is available. Last year was more than $20 billion invested in startups in Africa. So it's there. It's not easy, but it's there. The second thing is regulation. We love regulation. Oh my gosh. Okay? But I heard from the previous speeches as well that you need to make your choice. You need to stand from what you believe. You know what? When I was at Microsoft, my boss was telling me, you know what? when the road is closed, don't ask for permission. Go on it and ask for forgiveness. Well, you know what? With regulation, do the same thing. Of course, you need to talk to policymakers, you need to be politically correct, but otherwise, ride your own bike. And third but not least, which is important, is lifelong learning. I was, again, hearing of, you need to learn continuously. We live in 2024. Everybody doesn't have a smartphone. Of course, nobody raises his or her hand, because everybody has a smartphone, everybody has an internet connection. So you got humongous information on internet. Khan Academy, YouTube, you name it. You got everything. So you need to become, all of you, a continuous learner. I used to say, and I'm still saying it, I'm spending at least 1 hour every day learning new things. And I've been doing that for years and years and years. And so there are so many resources that just do it. You may say, okay, fine. So we got ideas, we got blockers, and we can overcome the blockers, but where do I start? Well, very simple. Okay, I will give you, again, 3 simple answers there. Again, simple doesn't mean easy, but it is simple to start. The first thing is low tech and community. Look around yourselves in your own community. It's not about, doing fancy things like they do, again, in Silicon Valley or elsewhere. It's just fulfilling a need around you. Something that really touches your heart, touches your people around you. And gathering like-minded individuals, coming all together. As I say, start a deck. Creating a deck is free. Starting just what we call the minimum viable product. Just an idea, present it to a couple of people, and just from that idea can blossom other and many other ideas. The second thing is keeping being curious. Again, I tell all the startups I'm coaching and many of my students, because I'm lecturing as well at university, the most beautiful thing on the planet is keeping curiosity pretty high. There are so many wonderful things, and you need to keep an eye of a child. The child has no barrier. When he or she thinks interesting, he or she will go after that. Okay? So keep being curious. Curiosity will really make something different. And then the third thing, and again, I'm very happy to have heard that multiple times this morning, is being ready to embrace failure. I know, it's difficult. Okay? Particularly because we're in a university that, does not reward failure. For those who are studying, you don't want to fail. Of course, you want to succeed, and succeeding is passing your exams. Well, let me tell you something. Outside of these 4 walls, life rewards failure. Life rewards the bold. Right? Life rewards the guys who take risks. And life rewards the word of Madiba, who said, I never fail. I either win or I learn. So as I'm standing in front of you today, I'm seeing limitless opportunities. The world outside is incredible. Your knowledge, your passion, your energy, your youth will change that world. But the thing is, we should not be content with what we have today. And you know what? I will tell you something which may sound counterintuitive, but we must be angry. We must be angry against this world. We must be angry about the guys, the politicians, the industrials, and even myself who built that freaking fucking world. We need to dream that world. And if we don't have that anger, we don't have that energy to dream a better world. And you have the youth, the potential, and the energy to dream that beautiful world. And that's why I really encourage you about a few things. First of all, be willing to be the change of that world. You will have hurdles, you will have difficulties and challenges. But as many others said, before me, you have the power to change that world. And so I want to keep the conversation ongoing. I'm the last, so after that, we can say bye-bye to each other. But I'm really embracing that conversation to continue. Get in touch. Have a discussion. And together, let's not predict the future. All together, let's build it. Thank you.